In today's video, I want to go over a new leak that is running around about the PlayStation 5 and the fact that it might actually have two different models released at launch. This is something that I was speculating on and really just hoping for quite a while, but it looks like it might actually be happening. Outside of that, World War Z Season 2 free updates roadmap have been announced. Free updates are coming to that game, so that's pretty cool. Speaking of free, a free demo is available for Code Vein on the PlayStation 4, and a demo update is dropping tomorrow, adding a brand new stage, multiplayer mode, and character export. We'll talk that at the end of this video. First up, the current console generation is the first one that saw the release of high-end models of base consoles from both Sony and Microsoft. Of course, on the Sony side, you had the PlayStation 4 Pro. On the Microsoft side, you had the even beefier Xbox One X that really took up the performance of the Xbox One. According to Japanese journalist Zenji Nishikawa, Sony is launching two different PlayStation 5 models next year, the base and the Pro model. According to the journalist, Sony has acknowledged the interest in a high-end model and wants to give players what they want right from the beginning of the generation, and that is incredibly exciting. Now, obviously, do take that rumor with a grain of salt, but I thought Sony was gonna go the route of releasing the PlayStation 5. It would be a $400 or $500 console, and that would be it, and then maybe midway through the generation, they'll release a revamp like they did with the PlayStation 4 Pro, and then if you want it, that's another $400 or $500, and that would just suck. I would just rather pay, the $600 to $700. Yes, if it's that expensive, it's fine because you're still offering the lower tier model, and you can play the same games just with less visual fidelity and less performance, whatever the case may be on that. You can still get that model and play all the games, but for those that want the highest end experience possible, offer something a little bit higher end from the get-go. I don't want to drop, $800 over the course of a generation, because I know that's what a lot of people did in the case with the PlayStation 4. You got the 4 and then you got the Pro as well, and then there's the issue of, well, is every game going to be optimized for the PS4 Pro given that it released midway through the generation? No, not every game is. Some games that released earlier on weren't going to be optimized. If from the get-go you have two platforms that both run the same games, but developers have that in mind that, okay, there are two platforms, we can kind of take the handcuffs off when we do develop for the PlayStation 5 Pro, that is something I can absolutely get behind. And again, people might scoff at the notion of it being a $600 or $700 console, but a lot of people were spending, $800 over the course of a generation to buy the base PS4 and then the PS4 Pro. So if it's $600 to $700 and it's going to last you the entire generation and it's going to give you that top tier performance the entire generation, well, I don't really see the big problem with that. Now, $600 to $700 would be a huge issue if that would be the only PlayStation model that was released, but if you still have the lower tier option, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. The only argument I think you can make is that notion of just even selling a $600 or $700 console. We've seen it before, it hasn't turned out well. However, we've never seen a scenario where you do have two distinct models and that $600 or $700 model is just an option for those that want to pay the extra price. Of course, we have been getting information on the PlayStation 5's hardware as well. There was that big reveal earlier this year, but it was also noted that the CPU is based on third generation of AMD's Ryzen line and contains 8 core of the company's new 7nm Zen 2 microarchitecture. The GPU is a custom variant of Radeon's Navi family, and it'll support ray tracing, a technique that models the travel of light to simulate complex interactions in 3D environments, and that's what is really worrying me. If you guys don't know, to have ray tracing enabled in a PC, you need a high-end GPU, and the fact that the PlayStation 5 is going to have that makes me think that it is going to be a higher end console. Now, could it be that the higher end model has ray tracing and the lower end model doesn't? There's still a lot of uncertainty surrounding the PlayStation 5, and I think at the end of the day, outside of anything like its technical performance and all that mumbo jumbo, it comes down to the games. You need a solid first party offering and you need solid exclusives. I think that's become abundantly clear this generation. There was a lot of promotional malpractice, so to speak, with the Xbox One. However, what really put the PlayStation 4 over the Xbox One was, at the end of the day, the exclusives. You're not getting games like Marvel's Spider-Man, you're not getting games like God of War, The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Uncharted 4, and I can go on and on. These are top tier high quality experiences that are only available on the PlayStation 4, and let's just be frank, if you compare the PlayStation 4's exclusive offerings to the Xbox One's, it's no contest. The PlayStation 4 just had the better games. Now Xbox and Microsoft are really hammering it home that they're acquiring a lot of studios studios, they're making new studios, they have teams like Obsidian under their belt. It's gonna be a lot closer of a race when you look at it from the exclusive offerings category, next generation comparatively speaking to this generation. Look, what happened this generation is Phil Spencer came in and he was left a pile of trash to rebuild. It takes a very, very long time to rebuild a pile of trash. I know saying a pile of trash might be a little bit hyperbolic, but you guys get the idea. It was not at a good state. Now they have things like Game Pass, they have a robust team working on exclusives. We'll see how things shape up next generation, but exclusives and high quality games are going to be the make it or break it for both consoles. However, the idea of the PlayStation 5 having a Pro and a base model right out of the gate, so we don't get juiced another $400 midway through the generation or whatever the case may be on that, that would be the ideal way things go in my eyes. Alright, next up, World War Z Season 2 free updates roadmap have been announced, new PvE missions, a wave-based horde mode, zombie type, and more. Publisher Focus Home Interactive and developer Saber Interactive have announced the second season of free post-launch content for the cooperative third-person shooter in World War Z, which is very surprising that they're just going all in on free content, given that this was already a budget game at $40 instead of $60. The fact that they've remained incredibly committed to it and continue to release content, that is something that is a huge thumbs up in my eyes. The game seemingly sold very well, and do keep in mind that this was a game that on PC was relegated to being an Epic Games Store exclusive, so they got a sizable amount of money upfront from Epic Games. Maybe that helped them out financially. Whatever the case may be on that, it seems like the game is doing pretty well. Specifically, what these updates are going to be adding: two challenging new player versus environment missions set in Moscow and New York, the highly anticipated introduction of a wave-based horde mode Z, a dangerous new zombie type, player versus environment crossplay support, the ability to prestige rank up for new weapon skins and perks, and a fiery new weapon and new cosmetic items. So a lot of new updates coming to that, and best of all, they are coming free. World War Z is a game that I do strongly recommend if you have a couple of friends to play. It's going on sale these days for south of $30, and if you can convince a couple of your boys to pick it up as well and you can jump on the game together, it's not the best made cooperative game in the world. However, it does offer a lot of fun, and again, with the content updates rolling out, the experience is seemingly getting better and better. And lastly, I do want to mention that Code Vein is getting a PlayStation 4 demo update, and that is dropping September 20th. So of course the demo is available right now. You can download it and play it, but they're actually enhancing the demo as well. The recently announced update for the Code Vein demo will launch for PlayStation 4 on September 20th. That was announced by publisher Bandai Namco. A release date was not announced for the X1 version, so make that of it what you will. As previously announced, the update adds the high difficulty Town of Sacrifice stage multiplayer mode and the ability to bring customized characters from the demo into the full game, so that's pretty important given that you could invest quite a bit of time into the customization. It would be kind of annoying if we had to do that again into the final game. Code Vein, at this point, we're getting closer and closer to the launch. It's dropping on September 27th, and I really don't feel like the buzz is there for the game. I do think the game is going to end up being pretty good. It's obviously a Souls-like game, and any game that has that Souls-like element to it, especially one with the unique anime art style that Code Vein has, I think it's definitely gonna find an audience. It's just I haven't been hearing that clamoring, I haven't been hearing the buzz for the game, but maybe that'll change. Usually you do really see the buzz ramp up for a game 3 to 4 days out from the release, but given that there was a demo released, I don't even see a lot of people trying out the demo and talking about it, but we'll see if that changes again once this update drops, once they add a new stage, multiplayer mode, and an exporting option as well. I still think, again, that Code Vein is going to turn out to be quite a good game, just that at this point I don't feel like the buzz is there. But given that we're at this holiday season and this fall season and there's a million games coming out, whether you're playing Borderlands 3, The Surge 2 is coming out very soon as well, AI the Seminium Files just dropped and there's not a lot of talk around that title as well. There's a lot of games just being released, and Code Vein is seemingly going under the radar right now, but if it comes out, critics are all over it, the people that do buy it day one are all over it and saying how great of a game it is. It's a game that can absolutely spread like wildfire, because this is the type of game that people will also be streaming, uploading videos on, and I imagine will have a decent amount of longevity attached to it. So there's a lot of variables that go into the release of a game like Code Vein, but we'll see how it turns out. Again, its official release comes September 27th, but its demo is getting an update come tomorrow. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, PlayStation 5 Pro news may have been leaked. Is there gonna be a base model and a Pro model released at launch? That would be incredibly exciting, and I've been touting this this to happen ever since we were talking about the PlayStation 5 before we ever even got some official confirmations. I want that high-end model right out of the get-go, and hopefully that does come to fruition. World War Z Season 2 free updates have been detailed, new PvE missions, wave-based horde mode, and much more, so check that out if you haven't and you want a quality multiplayer title. And Code Vein is getting a demo update come tomorrow, so that's pretty cool as well. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's going to conclude this video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.